one of the unique things I think about St. Mary, is you offer service coordination to your senior residents. How does that work, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So the service coordinators are assigned to a building, and we have a lot of multifamily buildings, so there might be 50 to 100 residents living in there, and they have office hours, and so the resident can go and talk to them about any issue, and then they will connect them. So they know the ins and outs of healthcare programs. So just to give you an example, we had a resident who received her Social Security increase, and because her income was too high, she lost her Medicaid. So she gets a 2% increase, she loses her health care. And our service coordinator, who knows every in and out, says, do you have a landline phone? And the resident says, no. And she says, well, you can subtract the cost of a landline phone from your income, so get a landline phone and you can keep your health insurance. So they know, I always say it's kind of like the show MASH. Remember Radar O'Reilly? He could just figure out everything. They've done this hundreds of times. We work with over 100 local nonprofits to connect them to whatever they need. Now, the biggest thing, let's get back to that trust level. A lot of home health care agencies or vendors will come in, and they'll say to the residents, we're here to help you, and then they talk to them and they say, oh, we can't help you after all. You're not covered, your insurance doesn't cover this. So you get that repeatedly, and what happens to the seniors is they give up. They say, you told me you were going to help me, but you're really not. So what service coordination does is, what we're able to say to them is, you didn't qualify for this program, let's look at another. Let's find a different way. And we can't always help them, but once you have that trust level, which is so critical, you're able to connect them to services. And what we have found is for every dollar we invest in service coordination, we can connect residents to $3 in services that they qualify for. Now, that's a big deal. If your annual income is $12,000 a year, and we connect you to Meals on Wheels that's worth about $1,200 a year, that's 10% of your income. So now maybe you have money to do some entertainment, to pay for transportation. So we're trying to have these seniors get connected to things that they already qualify for, but they're just not aware of.
Now, is that model something that for-profit entities are doing or should be doing?
Well, it's an interesting concept because when Kathy Campbell, our head of philanthropy, she goes out and she talks to different groups, Rotary clubs and things. And every time after one of those meetings, somebody will come up and say, how do I get that for my parents? Because it's so hard to navigate. So we think there is a significant potential to do that, because if you can go to somebody that can kind of help you go through and maybe get approved the first time and not have something sent back because they've done this process 100 times. Retire MedIQ is in the audience. They're a great example. They're a for-profit company. They do a form of service coordination on a limited basis where what they're doing is, if you're on Medicare, they're going to help you navigate that every year, year in, year out. What are the changes? Well, that's a huge help, because oftentimes on our own we wouldn't know what those are. So I think we will see for-profit service coordination. I'm sure there's a lot of families out there that would pay hundreds of dollars a year to have somebody that they could call about any issue and say, well, what about this? Am I seeing this the right way?